Showing off the parts for the rocket stove boiler. We have 4 fire extinguishers to make up the chimney, and with the fire extinguishers you leave the skirt on and just cut out the center piece, and that way they fit together nice and tightly, and then just tack screw them. So we'll start off with the main part, the fire chamber. That's just some 5mm steel. First we have CO2 cylinder. It's thicker, it will hold the heat better. A thin fire extinguisher to join the CO2 canister, and then a little square box set up. Got some mesh for the fire retaining ashes, the clean out chute, adjustable air so you can control your temperature. Another part of the fire extinguisher just on the top of that. Another fire extinguisher, leave the little round end on and just cut out the center to fit over this. That's the wood feeding tube down there. Then we've got the main chimney section. That's a 2-part. Full fire extinguisher on the bottom, and then a quarter of a fire extinguisher with some holes cut out. You got to put some fire rope around the holes to seal them up so the fumes come out. The only reason I use vertical tubing is because I had a heap of this 25mm copper tubing. I only had to buy the elbows, or I would have had to bought 3 full lengths of the coiled tubing. The coiled tubing would probably be better. You'd make little pancakes what fit in there. I still might do that in the end, but I have to save up for some money. Another there. Right, so we got boiler tubing, sits on that. Then we have the outer chamber, half of it, makes it easier to carry around and put together. That sits over the top of that, and on the outside of these, this is the steam tubes around the outside, and the water holding tubes are in the center. And then we have the capping part with the holes for the water in, water level, and the steam out. You'll need to make sure you get a steam gauge, not an air gauge, and a proper steam release valve. That's just the steam pipe. Had to cut this down. It's just a spark plug. You have to get a thread to fit that and tap it yourself. eBay's good for the thread taps. And the water pipe, a water pump from eBay, not too bad. I think it's alright. It's pumps 100 psi, but that's not the speed of the motor. It can have a force of 100 psi. The water pump control unit, we have 2 go to the pump, 2 wires go to the battery, and a wire to the spark plug is the positive, and the negative to the frame or a water pipe, so you can conduct, so the switch works. And I gave the outer casing a paint today, so it looks a bit better and doesn't look like a hot water system. And yeah, so that's the parts. How it works, it's a mono tube. We have our water in. Oh, there you go, just fell over. Great. Okay, so we have our water in. Goes in, goes down, then goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and up, down, and then comes to the water sensor, which is on an angle. We want the water to drain out, not hang around. That should fill up with steam eventually, and the drier the steam, the better the switch will work. and hopefully there's enough heat on the outside of this to keep the steam pipes nice and warm. So, total number of fire extinguishers, there's 4 on the chimney, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fire extinguishers you need. They're the thin ones. There we have it, one rocket stove boiler. For the thread seals, I'm using just some soap and some cotton. That seems to work. Everything's unscrewed today. These little thread ends are quite expensive. They were $15 a shot. Needed 3 of them. That busted the bank a bit. So that's about a metre tall. And that's about it. Well, there you go. When you construct them, just be safe. General safety practices. And make sure you have an outer container just in case the pipes do rupture. I can't see it rupturing through this 5mm plate. Right. I'm going to have the schematic for the water control on site so you can see how it was created. It's got, yeah, it's a bit complicated now. I'll wait till I put that on as a circuit diagram. Yeah, so there you go. Alright, thanks for watching. Tube set up on the centre housing. You can rotate it to wherever you allocated your holes to. It's not too bad. Well, thanks again. Happy building. To tell you, the top of this, which is the boiler tube chimney piece, needs to be around about 60mm to 50mm from the top of your main outer tube to get the flow correct. Any higher or lower and your stove won't draw as much air as it should. That's why this is a double piece. I had to work out the correct height for it. Okay, no worries. The water pump control circuit diagram. I'll describe some of the workings. The top relay, I couldn't find a part number for it. It was too old. It was just out of some scrap. But what you want in your relay for this one is a 12 volt relay, but it's got to have power on as a default. So the water pump is on as soon as you plug it into the battery, and then as soon as the base detects water between the base of the resistor and the spark plug, it will switch that relay and add power to the Bosch relay, which then powers the water pump. The transistor is a N23055 transistor. Its base pin is connected to the water pipes. One of the power relays is connected to the power source and also connected to the spark plug. And then just follow the other connecting lines and it should be okay. Make sure your pin layout on the Bosch relay is laid out like this. It's a 4-pin. There's other circuits on the internet as well for controllers like this. So we'll zoom her out. Oh yeah, the other end of the water pump is connected to the earth. Also, one of the relay pins is back to the earth. same with the emitter of the transistor is connected to the earth. They're pretty straightforward. You can buy the parts or scab the parts. All you need is a NPN transistor, and you just look up their data sheet and it will tell you the pin layouts, and if you just connect the wires to the pin layout you shouldn't have any problems. And you can test it in a glass of water. You just have the two wires or the spark plug and a wire dangling in. It's only 12 volt, remember, don't hook it up to the mains please. Just 12 volts.